We'll see if it comes.
Oh, there you go.
Now, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Well, here we are.
Well, welcome to another edition of our amazing podcast that we do weekly. We always have. We're trying it on a new platform today. We're going to try and do a bit of video. That way you can see our faces, what we look like. Dylan's head driving that little forklift there. But
it's an IRL
today,
pick.
Sorry, Dylan, you got something to say in the intro?
It's an IRL pick, that one.
Yeah.
Took it at work.
Yeah, nice. Today we're going to go over a few things. We've got the new Halo trailer that's just been dropped. We're going to discuss that. There's a few other things. We want to touch on the topic of modern day writing and storytelling and adaptations that probably quite haven't hit the mark, but some that probably have as well. We want to go over some old games, some new games, and we'll do what we can to try not argue this time round.
We're definitely going to argue a lot. It's inevitable.
So to kick it off, we'll touch on a topic that's come up recently. It's an old one, but it's a good one. It falls into a lot of other categories of pop culture these days of what modern writing is and modern ideals. It's the English dubbing of anime. We've had a resurgence of the TV show. I can't quite remember the name. Dylan, you might know the TV show name.
It is Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Yes. So there was a episode that aired back in 2017 where the English dub changed the wording only ever so slightly to mention patriarchal societal issues, which of course was not at all in the Japanese version or the original version at all. And it made fans quite upset. Dylan, you're a avid anime manga fan. What was your thoughts?
Well, it's more the fact that I feel like the authors of the original art, like even manga, which I assume it probably was not novel or whatever, like their work is just getting stepped on and like misappropriated into a Western audience. When like if you don't understand Japanese, you won't understand anything.
Yeah, right.
I'm not too sure if it's only the dubbing or if the subbing is the same. But yeah, I've also got a few others here if you want to hear those.
Yeah,
far away.
There's one from an anime called Prison School, and it's about a female character that beats up a male character in an arcade, and apparently in the Japanese subs, it essentially tells him to respect her because she's a year higher than him, which is a pretty Japanese thing.
Yeah.
But in the dub, she starts bringing up Gamergate, which I'm assuming neither of you probably know of.
No, I've never heard of that term.
I think I've heard. Is that the... No, I'm not going to pretend to know. Go ahead, Dylan.
Okay, so here we go. Gamergate was essentially a thing about corruption in games journalism. It was probably 8 years ago, I think it first came up, where like there was a main person, I forgot what their name was. She was essentially sleeping with a games developer and was getting like scoops and shit off the game and all that. So she would publish those, and that would pretty much go towards that. But then people started criticizing when that started coming out, where people were getting like preferential treatment and all that, and she couldn't get any blame because she was a trans woman. So that brought in the whole like anti-woman, anti-trans agenda against just people who were standing up for games journalism and ethics.
Okay. So
So, yes.
what did they say exactly in the dub?
I'm just going off what this Reddit said. That the female said to the male character that he essentially that he needs to address her more politely, as she is a second year, and he should talk to her as they are equals. So, like, that she's a higher person in the social ranking. But then the dub
doesn't seem too far off.
Instead about Gamergate.
I'm confused. I'm so confused.
So hang on. What was the?
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
What was said in the English dub? Do you know, Dylan?
Oh, I'm gonna have to look it up because it doesn't actually say it.
Because what you're saying is just words. I need hard fact. Otherwise, I have no opinion.
Honestly, from what you said, I'm like, it sounds like exactly the same. I don't think it's too
like, that sounds completely okay to me.
I think we're fine there.
But yeah, no, I guess while Dylan researches his facts, I have actually noticed it, not in the terms of exactly that, but I noticed that with animes now, because I only watch dub, and sometimes with One Piece, I'll go back and I'll see some scenes in Japanese on YouTube or pop up. I'm like, wait, that's not what they said. And it's not necessarily that they've changed anything politically, but they do actually change a lot of what they're saying in the Japanese to just kind of make it sound a bit better or make it make more sense. So it's probably very easy for companies to just change shit up without anyone kind of paying attention to it, because who the hell's going to watch each thing in Japanese and dubbed? And it won't be until, one person sits down who's only watched dub goes, oh, remember that scene when he goes, hey, dude, women are way stronger than men? And he goes, that never was mentioned at all. I watched the Japanese. And then that's when they go, oh, wait, hold on. Someone here's fucking around with the words. So I do notice that they do change up a lot of what they say. Not so much. They just rephrase it differently to what the subtitles say in the Japanese version.
Okay, I have found it, by the way.
All right, far away, Dylan.
So I'll start with the Japanese one.
Yep.
You keep talking to me like we're on equal terms, but I'm a second year. You have to address me a superior more politely. Shut up.
Okay.
So that's the Japanese version. The English one was, whoa, cut the brakes off of Fonzarelli. You got to stick up your ass, or are you one of those dumbass Gamergate creep shows?
Look, not far apart. They're pretty similar. Pretty similar.
Yeah,
it's defendable for sure.
Yeah,
I think you're probably clutching at straws there, Dylan. But yeah,
it's defendable. I just refuse to. So
it's insane, isn't it? If true, if that's what was said. I mean, it's such a difference from the anime version, the Japanese version, which, I mean, it's their story. It's, what they're giving to us essentially to view. But the issue is that then changes
the dynamic of the
character's dynamic. Yeah, like it would alter their thought pattern. Like, I mean, if that was just a one-off comment from that character, and then they stuck true to that character's behavior throughout the rest of the series, that one moment wouldn't make sense, and a lot of fans would probably have an issue with that.
You're almost changing the personality of someone dramatically from respect.
How I see it as well is is Gamergate even like a Japanese issue? It was more of a West issue. Like, why is it?
Well, no, but I do understand. Look, I understand why they're doing it in a way, because like I don't agree with any of the comments or whatever they're doing, but I understand why they're trying to do it, is because in the show, in the Japanese version, like you said, it's not like it's not our culture to respect someone older, but we don't. It's not like, hey, I'm in 7th grade, you're in 6th, so that automatically means you have to respect. That's not really a Western thing.
No.
So what they're doing is they're removing. Oh, well, that doesn't really align with Western culture, and who's going to watch the dubbed Western culture. So let's now use this opportunity to chuck in some political shit that Western cultures will understand. So let's just say that he's a transphobe because he doesn't want to date the guy that's dressing like a girl in the other room. which, it's like, well, that's got nothing to do with the show, nothing to do with the original writings, but they're just like, let's take this advantage to take out culture that doesn't align with the people who will watch this version, and let's try and twist some political shit into it to make it make more sense to the people that are going to watch this version. Because Japanese people aren't going to sit down and watch the dubbed. That just makes no sense. No. So they probably don't really care to keep in Japanese culture style twists. But in my opinion, it should be illegal. I don't know why they should be allowed to completely change the original writings or the original way that people are talking. They should be able to adjust it to say the same thing, but better, to make it make more sense in a different language, but not change the entirety of the character's sentencing, because then you're basically just stealing the story and changing it up. So kind of, it's just wrong.
Yeah, well, I've just quickly done a quick look up of what Gamergate was, and yeah, I mean, if what I'm reading is true and it is just solely off Reddit and Wikipedia, yeah, it sounds like there was two sides to the conflict of, gamers thinking there was corruption in certain journalistic
like Polygon and shit.
Yeah, like women sleeping with agents and journalists to make their games win awards and sound really good when gamers were like, no, it's a dog shit game.
Yeah, right.
And then the other side was people thinking that it's not true and it's just misogyny within the gaming sort of fan base, I guess, if that's true. I mean, it sounds like would need a in-depth dive in. Thanks, Dylan, for opening up that can of worms. But yeah, fucking hell.
The chick that did, the main chick that did the trans one that did sleep with the game creator or whatever it was, that has been pretty much come out as true.
Yeah, right.
From what I remember.
Very good. And you got any other examples, Dylan?
I have one here from good old Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
The Zelda Link is talking to, I'm assuming, a vendor. I haven't played the game fully. And in the Japanese version, the guy says, "Mon is a currency I invented that you can only use in my store." So I'm assuming it's some sort of like currency that's hard to get or something like that. And then in the official translation into English is, "Mon is a currency I invented to destabilize the market and fight the establishment." So it sort of goes into like anti-capitalism and stuff.
Yeah. It sounds like they're almost just... I don't know. I don't find that one too bad, because maybe they're trying to just branch on giving the guy having a different currency a reason. Like, why would he specifically only accept a certain currency?
Well, from the looks of him, he just looks like he collects trash. So,
yeah, right.
I played Breath of the Wild. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I can't remember that one. Well, it's probably not something you would remember, because it's just like an NPC. It's like, walking through World of Warcraft and some dwarf being like, what's some of the NPC lines in WoW from dwarves? They're just like, wow, I'm having a mind fart. But yeah, anyway, it's like walking through Skyrim and then being like, peace be with you.
I did put the photo into Discord if you did want to look at it.
Of what? Of who the person is?
Yeah. More into Taylor than probably you.
I've finished Breath of the Wild, mate, so how about you go fuck yourself?
Well, there you go,
I've also
I don't think I remember that.
What is the currency I invented that you can only use in my store? I mean, sure. I
don't think it's like a huge issue, that one, but it's I see where they're I can see how it could become.
They're adding unnecessary shit.
It's a fucking ridiculous line anyway. Like it's utterly stupid. It makes no sense. But I mean, it's not bad. I don't think I got if I've definitely met that character and I didn't really pay attention to that line. I don't think altered or change anything with me. But
I mean, the bigger picture is that it could just become really bad. Like if they don't crack down on like, hey, don't change our lines around, then it could allow people to influence any anime with English dubbing of political shit and changing stories up massively if they don't try and.
I think where a lot of this stuff's coming into picture now, because a company that translates the sub the sub to dubbed have now started using AI to do it.
Yeah.
And then a human goes through just to do the finishing touches on it. So a lot of localizers are sort of getting up in arms about that because they're like, oh, why are they taking our jobs and shit again?
Probably because the AI doesn't put political shit in it. Just does that job as it's told.
It is going to be a tough job, though. Like, I mean, when you think about trying to translate Japanese to English, I mean, yeah, of course you want to try and stick as close as you can to the source material. You want to make sure that you're, doing right by, what's pre-existing. At the same time, you have to account for what they call flaps. So when their characters talking, their mouth is moving, and you have to translate from Japanese to English, make sure whatever you're saying is going to match up to the character's mouth opening and closing to, and you have to pass on that same message. I guess the only thing, like, I don't really care if it's a completely different way of saying something. Yes, some things don't really translate from Japanese to English directly, and yes, you have to change it to make it make sense. But as long as it, like, I mean, saying things like the stupid patriarchal societal, judgments are making me upset is
politics.
completely different to, I'm getting a lot of comments, I'm just trying to tone it down a bit. And that's a completely different way of saying it, and also gives that character a completely different feeling and emotion towards something. Whereas
from what I understand of her character, she's like a really easygoing person as well.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying. Like,
the majority of the time, she's literally tank top and shorts. That's it.
Yeah. But it does, like, saying something like that is like, and then like, does she follow it up later? Does something else get said and her anger grows and she gets more and more infuriated with the misogynistic, patriarchal, societal fucking shit that keeps getting said to her? Or is it just dropped and then she's just back to being humble and fucking quiet again?
Mind you, this show is a slice of life comedy fantasy show. It really shouldn't be having like politics, like the patriarchy and shit in it.
Yeah.
Like,
it reminds me of that clip. There's a clip from a podcast where some girl's like, "Can you please stop? You're being really misogynistic right now." And the guy goes, "Oh, sorry. What do you define as misogynistic?" And it turns to her, and she just starts crying. And he's like, "You okay?" And she goes, "I want to leave." He goes, "Well, you want to like leave the podcast?" She goes, "I want to leave the podcast." He goes, "Yeah, sure. You can leave." And it's just like, it's going to turn people, like, when they do stuff like this, and some young kids watch animes, it'll start to create snowflakes because they will start to hear these terms and go, "Oh wow, my favorite character, she's like such a social justice warrior and believes in misogyny." It's like, well, if you watch the actual original writings of this character, she probably doesn't even give a shit about any of that, and none of that is even mentioned at all in the Japanese version. And they're just using like influence to change stories. I can see where it could become a giant issue if they don't go, "Hey, please don't add politics into our anime. You're allowed to change wordings to make it fit your culture, but please avoid politics in our story because that's not what our story was written with." If they don't crack down on that, on the Japanese side of people selling their stories to certain, Netflix or whatever, then I can see how they could use any show they want and just chuck in wild things like that and just make characters completely different to the original writings.
Well, on that one, I'm pretty sure that someone actually asked a fairly similar question to the person who did the Miss Kobayashi's one,
Mm.
and her response was, "I have a vagina."
Yeah, right.
Oh, I think it was worse than that.
That was the first thing she said,
Yeah, yeah. She
and
said,
then she went on a rant.
I have a vagina, get over it. And then she said, it's not about just because you're not getting laid, that's not my problem.
God.
I'm a funny, smart, powerful woman. I don't know, she goes on this tangent and it was like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Like you changed the line. You decided to do that. Why? What did you see in that character in that moment where that fit the situation, that married up with the character's sort of, arc, or what made you say that? How do you address that? And should you apologize to the original creators for demeaning their work and reducing their work down to something so little? And it's not funny. It's stupid. And I mean, yeah, that I don't know. It's ridiculous. I mean, we could probably use this as a segue into talking about modern writing and modern adaptations of certain things.
I'll
Which
point one tangent before you go on. I was actually going to say, this just reminds me of the whole writer's strike. I feel like they're going to have a localizer strike now.
Yeah.
dog, do it. I mean, the writer's strike is utterly ridiculous because like the backlash has been like all we've heard since like when, like 2019, even before that, we could see a decline in the
Western
like,
media.
well, not just like the level of writing, like the movies that were coming out. You watched Marvel once Disney acquired it. You watched them just totally start nosediving in its quality. You see Star Wars be yes, it was a little bit quirky at times, like in the original trilogy and all that sort of stuff, but it was it had a whole extended universe and all these things, and it took itself seriously, and the fandom took itself seriously, and people were, out of the small bits of media they got out of Star Wars, they loved it. But then it just started to just drop off in terms of quality, writing, world building, cohesion with one another. It just, nothing worked and tied well together. And fans aren't dumb. Like, people watching it aren't dumb. Well, most of them. And they pick up on all these little things and go, well, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Why would this character do this? And it's just, oh, well, you don't like it. You must be one of those racist or sexist or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, well, come on, like, talk to me at face to face here. Like, what's the go? And not even that. It started to move on to other things. Rings of Power, Witcher, Wheel of Time. You just started to see it drop off. All the stuff that was coming out on Netflix, Prime's. Oh, here in Australia, we got Stan and Binge and all this sort of stuff. You just watched everything just go, and it was hard. And then
I think the quality and the consistency of writing has gotten bad that I've actually started to change my favorite genre to docu-series now, because you can't you can't change the writing. It is factual and it's fucking happening.
Go watch
So
Cleopatra.
I love docu-series right now. Like, I've binged them. I've watched every extreme sport.
Cleopatra.
I've watched every extreme sport one, from free solo to alpinist to deepest dive to dawn wall. I've binged extreme sport docu-series. I've gone into the crime ones. I've watched Hell Camp, the one about, there's an Australian cult called The Family and a cult called the Living Flame, the Epstein one recently. I've just been docu-seriesing because you can't fucking change a docu-series. So they're the only things now that I go,
You
really
say that, and Dylan brought something up, because this is where it started to change, because you had all these stories, these franchises, IPs being transformed into, instead of it just being a story, a fandom, an escape from reality, it started to be turned slowly into, how can we pass on a message? How can we build upon a message? Blah, 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 blah. So people stopped watching that, and other stuff started to rise, like documentaries, even sport, even started to rise because you can't change facts, you can't change values. And in sport, it's if you're the best, you win. There's no evil level playing ground. It's just purely if you're good, you win. And all these things started to happen. And then Netflix and all these other things started to try to change history by releasing Cleopatra, which just I think was the biggest laughing stock. And I think Hollywood did an amazing job at shutting down the talks. They shut that down. Like how bad that was insane. Like that should be like whoever worked on that, whoever should never get a job surely ever again. Like you cannot do that. And I mean, it even got so far with the Egyptian government were trying to sue them.
Yeah. Like, mind you, a lot of people don't know about the whole Cleopatra thing. It's actually not just Cleopatra. It was actually a series of that was actually season 2. Cleopatra was. There was actually a season 1 before that, which was African Queens Njunga, which like that was also heavily like
did they get like a white person to play the African Queen or something?
No, but they did actually
I'll tell you maybe once we got some representation for once. Fucking sick of never being represented in any show these days.
They actually got her race right for once.
Oh, wow.
Unlike they did in Cleopatra.
Yeah.
But no, a guy goes pretty good on it. I'll give him a shout out. It's History of Everything podcast. He does pretty good with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's got a bunch of shit on that. He's got a full net. He goes through it, talks like all about like the historically armor, like the battles that happened, like through all that shit. Like he's pretty historically accurate. He goes like about the armor, like no one had like level wristbands, like all the armor's wrong and all that. It was actually really good. It was a good read.
Okay.
Listen, sorry.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But like what are your thoughts on like the whole thing? Like we look at things like for me, like as much as I think Rings of Power has been heavily sort of like it's a catastrophe. I mean I would argue with anyone over this. As much as I think Rings of Power was a failure, I genuinely think that Star Wars has absolutely like I wasn't even the greatest fan of Star Wars, but I respected it. I mean I took it seriously. I watched it and I loved what I saw. I wasn't like over the top amazing, like really loved it. But then I saw what was happening through what Disney were doing and how it sort of did Force Awakens, which is arguably the worst thing to ever happen to any franchise or IP. Where that in itself destroyed Star Wars, and then everything else after that, apart from maybe Rogue One. I think Rogue One was actually genuinely good to watch.
I don't put that off on you. Like Jean, what's her name? Jean also something like that?
Yeah,
she was good.
Yeah, I think at this point, what they need to do, Disney need to hire Tommy Wiseau, because I feel like if they're going to start writing shit this bad, there's only one guy that can pull it off that bad, as long as he's the main actor, and actually turn it around to become a positive and a success, and that is Tommy Wiseau. Because if you just had a few times where Obi-Wan was like, Anakin, you're tearing me apart, Anakin, or something like that, just with his acting.
I didn't kill her, Anakin.
Yeah, I didn't kill him, Anakin.
You're my favorite Jedi. Oh, hi, Kenobi.
Yeah, I feel like something like that would be really good, and that maybe Disney need to do that if they want to go down the shit route. Get Tommy Wiseau, because at least he does it. So
Tommy Wiseau plays everyone though. He plays Jar Jar Binks. He plays Yoda.
They have. They've reduced it to the room level. Like they've totally taken depth and complexities out of Star Wars because they thought that's what fans didn't enjoy. Disney were fully under this sort of like, we're going to save Star Wars. We're not going to follow this route that the prequels went down, like episode 1, 2, and 3. We're not going to go into all that
world building.
boring stuff. We're going to give you fans all the exciting things, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, as much as episode 1, 2, and 3 weren't exactly the greatest, it did set up a foundation that gave episode 4, 5, and 6
more credence,
more weight. It gave it more weight because you could go into watching the original trilogy, understanding what had happened. You saw the arc of Anakin go from being this positive kid with very powerful potential, and you watched slowly as he got corrupted and, went to the dark side, and it gave it more weight. But it also gave it a political spectrum. It showed you the Senate. It showed you what was important within the galaxy, that there wasn't just Jedi versus Empire or Rebels versus Empire. We had a universe of different worlds with different political powers. You had a Senate that was trying to control everything, and you had like all this shit going on that you didn't know about. But in the background, you knew these things were working. The world building was perfect. As much as the story wasn't that great, the execution probably wasn't the best. The world build of Star Wars was strong, was super, super strong. You had all the foundations that you could possibly want to move forward. But Disney, in the very first sequel movie that they did, The Force Awakens, completely and utterly destroyed that foundation in the opening credit scene with, the fucking Rebel Alliance. Yes, they won all this sort of stuff, and they tried to establish a Senate, which utterly failed. And, the rebels all failed and died, and Princess Leia had to just become a general in an army, and, Han Solo and her broke up and did all, and it just completely destroyed all the hope and all the building and all the happy endingness of the original trilogy, and defeated it, and just went everything they worked towards only lasted about 30 years. So, we watched them go through all that trouble. 30 years later, it all fucking died anyway, because then you had this new evil that had risen. You had another Sith Lord coming into power, even though Palpatine was like 1 in 1,000-year Sith Lord. Oh, but it doesn't matter. We got another one here ready to go 30 years later. And it's like, well, you've just taken the weight of what they did, destroyed that, then fuck the characters that everyone beloved and loved for years. You destroyed all them, never got to see them all together again. There was no like sort of happy reunion, or you never got to see what they did and the results of what they did, and then slowly crumbling over 3 movies to then set up another trilogy. It was just immediately like, nope, it's all fucked. Here we go. Here's our story. Thanks.
Yeah, a lot of people think the biggest tragedy that happened to Star Wars was the fact that all the original cast didn't actually meet up.
Honestly, what I think is the biggest tragedy is the fact that they haven't had a female director with female influence into the story. Now, I think if they just got a female influence into the story from a woman's perspective of the galaxy, maybe she could change the galaxy for the better.
Well, aren't you in luck? That's who the next one is.
No. Well,
I don't know why we're worried then.
Disney constantly managed to do something that's really good. They continually raise the ceiling. So this Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, she is the first woman to direct a Star Wars anything.
Amazing.
For the 8th time now.
And
so she's the 8th first woman to direct a Star Wars something. But it's such an insult to everything that George Lucas ever built up, to now being like, Kenobi was an utter joke. I cannot believe, and I would gladly sit in a room with someone, just anyone. If anyone wants to fucking like comment, I will get you on and I will live debate you on why Kenobi was the worst story, plot, everything to ever happen, to ever be written, to ever exist in the history of any sci-fi that I've ever seen. Like Kenobi was the biggest joke in the world. And that's my opinion. And because I was so excited for Kenobi, it
Everyone
had the
was.
greatest potential to tell such a good story.
Yeah.
And there was even fanfics on YouTube that showed really good sort of Kenobi stories, like really good short stories, which I was watching prior to Kenobi coming out, and I was getting excited, going, "Wow! If these small time YouTube mini movie makers can do a 20-minute video of a Kenobi story with this much weight and show Kenobi going through that much growth in 20 minutes, I can't wait to see what Star Wars Disney do." And it was the biggest joke I've ever seen in the history of the world. It was
Rings
such
of
a
Power?
disappointment. Yeah, even like Rings of Power was like
Big ups for Amazon.
Rings of Power had 3,000, 4,000 years to create a story. A little bit tougher than trying to create a story that happened within 40 years and you knew exactly what had happened between those 40 years. Not much could have happened, but you could have done a lot better than what they did. Rings of Power, let's not discuss that. But
I was going to say on this whole Star Wars thing, even Ahsoka, like the fact that if Ahsoka done nothing, it would have been the best thing that could have happened. Like
To be honest, I haven't seen the last show I watched, Mandalorian. Didn't watch Kenobi. Didn't watch Ahsoka. Didn't watch the other one about the other dude.
Boba Fett.
No, not Boba Fett. The other one, the one who's got like the Egyptian-looking main actor with a long
Andor?
hair. Yeah, Andor.
not Andor,
Didn't
yeah.
watch Andor.
Apparently, Andor was really good.
Ever since
I
Mandalorian, I liked Mandalorian, but I was just like, I don't really care for more Star Wars shows at this point.
No, but see, like Mandalorian was like Mandalorian was the perfect kind of like here's some content, fill your gaps. Between movies, watch Mandalorian. It doesn't mean anything. There's no weight to it. You can pick up an episode whenever you want. You just watch this guy go into town, sort something out, and that's it. It's just a bit of fun, blah, blah, blah. We didn't need any gravity towards it. And then they tried. Then they tried to add in depth and all this sort of stuff. And it just, that's where it started to unfold itself. When it was just a bit of fun and it was a bit of time wasting between movies, fine. But then they started to try shit. And that's where, for me, it started to go downhill. I started to lose faith at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian because it felt like such a rushed end. I know everyone loved it and was like, oh my God, Luke Skywalker. But it felt like such a rushed end, such a final decision. Like there was no build up to that. And I think the mystery box and the reveals of characters is such a cop-out and it's such a cheap way of telling a story. It doesn't have, and it's like having a game that you can't play again. You play the game, you finish it, and you go, glad I did that, can't play it again because there's nothing new for me to pick up from that. That's what Mandalorian was like for me. It was such a rushed end. There was no build-up. There's no anything. It's just mystery box, reveal, and then everyone go, oh my God, did you see that person? Oh my God, did you see this? Oh my God, there was that guy at the end. It was like, earn it. And the same thing in Kenobi, where they did the whole reveal at the end with Qui-Gon Jinn. It was like, okay, if you managed to get Liam Neeson to agree to that, why did you waste him for the final scene of a Kenobi series?
I mean, they wasted everyone in that TV show, so
it's
I think
just
Liam
such
Neeson
a
got
cheap
that good.
way. It's such a cheap way to write a story. Yeah, it's fun every now and again, but it's every single thing they do. It's like, oh, I wonder if they're going to bring this character back. Oh, did you see that Easter egg of that thing in the show? Oh, did you see that this character did this in the background? And did you know? It's like, fuck off. Tell me a good story, something that builds a character up. They fail, they go through a process, they figure out what they need to do to win, then they go through the pain, and then they win. Show me something like that. But all we get is, here's a hero, they defeat the villain, they go through some sort of adventure that means absolutely nothing to anyone, filled with mystery boxes and MacGuffins, face the enemy again, defeat them again. Then it's the next movie. Then they go through mystery boxes, MacGuffins, and different plot lines that never get resolved. Defeat the enemy again, victory. How good is that hero? Star Wars is like I can't believe it. And again, it falls into that same thing where if I think I can write better, then I'm not watching. It's the same thing with Rings of Power. I think I said it last week in the pod. If I think I can write better, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
It's rubbish.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. It's I've lost faith in Star Wars, to be honest. I think their Lord of the Rings is going down the similar route of just money grab, trying to make a bunch of movies and TV shows and shit. And I think they've kind of seen the success in financials that Star Wars has had over the years. So now they're like, oh, Warner Brothers, let's remake the greatest trilogy of all time. It doesn't really need to be done, but you know what? Let's do it anyway. So I think they're just it's a money grab now. So I don't fucking follow Star Wars anything now, because everything I just find is a money grab. I don't think they're releasing anything to be like, hey, this is a really good story. They're just like, hey, well, I don't know, we've kind of dried up all other ends in the galaxy, so here's like another dude that's just come out of nowhere, and he's Indian, but this time I swear he's better than the last three guys who's been hired to kill a bunch of people. And this story is gonna be really, really good. So tune in, and it's gonna have a lot of political stuff in it. So just go watch it and be like,
well, I'm gonna have to just fix something with what Zach just said. Firstly, that Indian character, is he going to get a redemption arc that he was actually a good person all along, or is he going to be a villain?
Well,
we talking Rings of Power
depends
here.
Depends when we run out of budget.
Well, if he's an Indian or a person of color or whatever, can't be a bad guy. He has to be white if he's going to be bad. So since Sauron's going to be an Indian, he's not going to be bad anymore. That's
a good point. Maybe Amazon are do a redemption arc. Yeah.
I'm half expecting Guy Ladriel to be the main antagonist in season 2.
Speaking of which, can we get a round of applause for Dylan for managing to secure the name Guy Ladriel in
World of Warcraft?
In World of Warcraft the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Great name choice, Dylan. Great name choice.
Thank you.
Wow. Did it magically, was it like a cheat code when you put in Guy Ladriel, you automatically were like level 100 above the top 80 level mark and you could just do anything?
Well, actually what it gave him was the ability to backflip over a snow troll, which is quite high. It is.
And I'm playing a survival hunter, so I probably could do that.
But Dylan's been
any enemy with under 10 seconds.
Yeah, but Dylan's been stuck in Stormwind lately, teaching all the guards how to fight. So I don't know when he's done with that. Maybe he can come join me for some questing.
And also screaming at anyone coming past and telling them that the sea is always right.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But before we get tied into that, I guess maybe we should move on to another very controversial topic of Halo, since we're getting far into this pod. We've all just watched the season 2, and if anyone is watching this that has listened to many of our other episodes, you all know that I quite enjoy the Halo series, and no one else in this pod does. So me and my partner Rovi,
40 subscribers, and we've lost all our views.
Yeah, well, you guys should like Halo, and they maybe will come back. So me and my
I
partner,
like Halo,
Rovi,
just not the fucking shitty TV show.
We're going to be very excited on February 8th to sit down and watch it. It looks really good, much more action-packed than the last one by the looks of that trailer. So look, we all know that don't have a lot negative to say. There's only like one thing I could probably criticize out of that trailer. So let's go to Dylan, because he just likes to nitpick things. So Dylan, take it away.
I nitpicked it a lot.
Yeah, go. Take it away, Dylan.
Okay. firstly, I'll give my 2 cents of what I actually like.
Yep.
The fight scenes and the combat, fucking intense. Apart from some scenes that I'll get to. Like the whole energy swords. I believe it also shows that the Arbiter will be there.
It did look like the Arbiter in the background, eh?
Yeah, which could add some fucking sick ass scenes.
But the other thing was they mentioned at the start was like Citizens of Reach. So I don't know if they're going to go into that whole arc of the destruction of Reach. And
I mean, if we get to that, I don't think Master Chief was even on Reach. So
no, you're right, Dylan. But this is modern day storytelling. We can do what we want.
And well, to be honest,
the
destruction of Reach could be
who...
a different timeline, mate. Reach doesn't just have to be about one fucking storyline.
You know what I said before. You know what I said before about
what
mystery boxes and MacGuffins and big reveals being the cheapest way to tell a story. If that's the cheapest way to tell a story, multiverse is the worst way to tell a story. And I think any creative writer that goes, oh, I've got an idea for a multi, and it should just be right punch straight to the face, they collapse, and then they get that sort of like memory erasing thing from Men in Black, go, done. And it'll be like, it doesn't happen. It is the worst way to tell a story. And in fact, the only reason why it was told, which was like the DC's bloody Crisis on Infinite Universe, was to clean up a few things. And that was the only reason why it was done. And that's it. That was to just try and make sense of the universe to reset itself.
I mean,
but every story now is,
okay, so just 1 second.
Okay, well
there is literally in Halo 3 ODST, there is a brief Easter egg in Halo Reach with Master Chief there. And 2, in the actual story, I'm pretty sure the Master Chief was the sole Spartan to leave the Reach system aboard the Pillar of Autumn. Whatever the fuck.
No, there would be
with the expectation of Linda 058 in Cairo. For all he knew, he was the last Spartan alive. So just because they mentioned the fucking word Reach, let's not dive balls deep into it in a fucking trailer.
This is the hype train. This is what you're supposed to do. And
for me, the only thing in that was hype was just combat, because what everyone wanted was there to be more combat. And I knew for a fucking fact season 2 was going to be more action. And I'm telling you now, there's going to be a lot more fucking action in this.
What did you know, Zach? You're seeing now every bit of action that is going to be in that show. And it was in that 2-minute long video. And the rest is going to be fucking Master Chief with no helmet.
The first episode is going to be 50 minutes of action. And then the rest of it is going to be those few clips where we saw the guy who plays Master Chief not in uniform, spending the rest of the season out of uniform, trying to get back to coming out of citizenship, because I reckon guaranteed it'll be like he was a part of the war, something happened, and he got excommunicated and they kicked him out, right? He's no longer a fucking Spartan, and they kick him out and he's out of uniform and he's got to find his way back without any of his, suit, and he's got to be resourceful and do all this sort of stuff. And it's going to be that that chick that we saw. She's going to be it's going to be like Tila all over again in what was that, Masters of the Universe show?
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be about her, and then Master Chief is going to be this side project where he's just trying to get back to something. I reckon that's probably what it's going to be about, because in the game, the Arbiter was stripped of all his stuff and he had to start again. But I reckon this time around it's going to be the Master Chief who was stripped of all his stuff. Because in this one, he's probably going to have to pay the price for sleeping with the enemy, and they're going to tell him to go get stuffed for showing his cheeks on live TV in front of kids, right? And he's going to get cast out and walk along the streets in that really cool jacket that he had on.
One scene that really made me almost laugh was when they're like, "Oh, we have one thing they don't," and then it shows a woman looking back, and then it shows a woman Spartan going out to the battlefield. I'm like, "Oh no, it's going to be one of these, isn't it?"
Well, to be fair to you, Dylan, you misogynistic fuck, Okay,
Well,
Halo has
no.
always had female
I-
Spartans.
I
chief,
have no
and in
issue.
Halo, the female Spartans have always kicked ass.
Yeah.
Champ. So
I-
how about you take your misogyny out of our
Okay.
podcast? Because that's not what
I
we're here
shall
for. You
defend
bigot.
myself. Firstly, I don't have a girlfriend, so I can be misogynistic as I want. Secondly, I'm not saying that women can't be badasses.
No,
But it's the fact that they're even the women in Spartan, like Kat, whatever the fucking name is in Halo Reach, she was a badass.
Mm.
Like, but it's more the fact that like, oh yeah, we've got this fucking chick that looks like she's just come out of the hairdressers. She's gonna go out there, kick a whole Covenant army's ass all by herself.
Well, I think more when I say we have like one thing they don't, I think that was more just meant like we have Spartans. But yeah. Anyway, I don't even remember that part in the trailer, to be honest. I was just paying attention to the fighting. But for me, right, I'm just keen to see more action, because the one thing that they did really fucking well in season 1 when they did it was action. The fight scenes were immaculate. The CGI was immaculate. It was awesome watching him fight in season 1 when he did it. So if they do that more in season 2, I'm all for it.
See, I would be fine with that, but then it becomes a soap opera as soon as it ends, and he takes off his helmet and then he goes and fucks a Covenant spy.
Okay, Dylan, do you believe that everything you see in the games, which was quite limited in terms of lore on the fucking Spartans, do you believe that Spartans just never fucked?
Well, they didn't really even have the need to.
Well, how do you know? In your 4 years, if you're in your, well, let's probably say like 4 campaigns of playing it, right? In your 4 in your 4 campaigns of playing it, right, where you play a handful of fucking missions, which probably equates to about, I don't know, a year of Master Chief's life. Do you think that equates to his entire life of him not fucking once, or his butt cheeks being on a camera?
Well,
you playing the game doesn't delegate whether or not he wants to get his dick wet. It will happen. He is a male at the end of the fucking day.
I'm going to point out, he was literally taken in as a child to be a human test subject, to be a soldier of war against humans.
And what did historically soldiers of war do, Dylan?
Yes, but this one,
soldiers of war historically,
the Spartans were made emotionless killing machines that would follow the commands of the UNSC.
And what did emotionless killing machines do, aka Vikings? Fucked. So,
you're comparing a Viking to a genetically modified human that has no emotions, has never really even seen.
Technically, Vikings were genetically modified because of their diets, right? So, like, if you were to go on genetics, every society is genetically modified based on what they consume.
Sorry.
So,
I'm talking about someone going under the scalpel, not going into the bushes and eating a fucking mushroom.
Okay. Well, someone being under the scalpel, I don't think they're going, all right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to add in a little bit of violence, just take out a little bit of emotion. And, oh, what's that? That's his hormones. Let's just remove all testosterone from his body because that's not valuable. When in fact, they would probably go, let's increase the testosterone because that's what makes a fucking person stronger. So pump that shit up. And what does testosterone do? Makes you horny. Yeah, so, in fact, if anyone was to be horny, I'm pretty sure Master Chief would be one of the most fucking horniest horn dogs on planet Earth with the amount of testosterone pumping through his veins.
But in your opinion, why would a genetically modified human that they made for one purpose and one purpose alone, which is to quell human civilizations that turn against the UNSC, why would they give a thing that has no emotion? The only emotion it has is
emotion.
Huh?
He has emotions.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, so the emotion of killing a enemy is not an emotion?
Not to him. He has no emotion.
Well, it is, because his emotion right then is, I'm going to kill you. That's
so
an emotion.
when he kills an enemy, he's like, fuck yeah, son, I killed that fucking cunt. He's fucking
emotion
dead.
Doesn't have to be...
Yeah,
emotion
son.
doesn't... When I ejaculate, Dylan, I don't go, oh, fuck yes, I just had sex. but
Yeah.
I express an emotion, right? So you don't have to express an
Right.
emotion when killing
Right.
something. His
It-
emotions are subdued and they are taken down to only limited emotions and remove certain emotions from him to make him better at the job that he is designed for. But there is a design for humans in this world, and that is to recreate, right? We are meant to have sex and recreate. That's our only thing. But you have people out here like Elon Musk building rocket ships. Is that what he was designed for? No.
Yes, but the Spartans were also a
I'm
secret.
just finding ways to
fucking-
argue with you, Dylan. This is a
They-
fucking
they were
2-minute
made in
trailer,
secret by
and
the UNSC
none of what
in a
we're
secret
saying is
project.
shown in this
Why
trailer.
would they be like, oh yeah, we better just put in a bit of horniness and make them so they want to procreate still? It's like, why the fuck would they want them to procreate? They're killing machines.
Why,
that they
okay,
want.
why would we want our killing machines to procreate to make more killing machines? It's just like if
They
you were to
just
go
go
into
steal human
Warhammer,
child.
huh?
They just go steal human children. They don't give
Yeah,
a
but
fuck.
why still human children when you can just make them and their father is the killing machine that can teach them how to do it?
This is in the future. They've got multiple planets. I don't think they're really lacking on resources.
Well, like if we look back to the Nazis, right? Let's take a step back in time. Nazis, not only for people who don't know history, not only did they have camps for killing certain people, but they actually had camps for breeding certain people, and that was the Aryans, where they would send the Aryans or the soldiers they deemed to be good enough to go produce and have sons, and if they had daughters, they would kill them unless they were born a son and raise them as Aryans, right? So who's to say that they won't do that with Spartans?
Because Spartans aren't
Spartans
born. They're
are
made.
creators. They're not.
I'm
sort
just
of
finding a way
brute.
to make Dylan argue with me because this
Yeah.
is a 2-minute trailer that shows literally fucking none of this, but you're only arguing topics from the previous season and not about what the trailer showed us.
I'll get back to it.
Thank you.
I'm fine with Master Chief not wearing his helmet in one scene, and that's when he's getting orders from a UNSC general.
Yep.
Apart from that, when he's in no armor and he's scurrying around a city, what the fuck?
What do you mean?
Like, in I'm going to say in the games, but in lore, these guys are like 8 foot tall fucking behemoths that require a whole team to armor them and unarmor them.
Mm.
The helmet is the only thing that they're going to be easily be able to take off. Where's he getting like a whole fucking forklift team to fucking unarmor him? Like from what I understand from the first season.
Just to correct you, because like as soon as you said that, I was like, that's not correct. Master Chief's only 6'10". Okay, so he's 2 meters tall, 2 meters and 8 centimeters. He weighs only 130 kilos. So that's like a pretty standard size NBA player. And I'm pretty sure he has a machine that takes his armor off for him and puts it on him. But in saying that, I, walking around a city where I feel completely safe, don't feel the need to walk around in a shit ton of fucking armor the entire time when I can just go grocery shopping in my standard armor, right? Not to say Master Chief's going grocery shopping. I'm just making the argument
the
here
enemy. May as well
that
go
I
down the
don't
fucking
think
servo and
it
get
is
himself a
law
slap.
breaking or an issue, or I don't think it's the biggest issue that he's walking around his own city with no armor on. Now, if you were to say, I think it's really dumb that he's walking around an enemy city with no armor on, or in an enemy planet with no armor on, or an outside planet where he's not knowing where he is with armor on, then I agree with you. But if he's in the UNSC's capital with no armor on, I don't think he's expecting to get into a fucking punch on, which clearly you saw in a scene in the trailer where he gets into a gunfight with no armor on. So clearly they get invaded, which is where he's probably in the UNSC and he gets invaded and he's caught without his armor on, which obviously is then hey, oh shit, maybe we need to have their armor on while they're in the UNSC. But I don't think that is Halo's biggest fucking problem. My issue with people hating on it is you got something like Rings of Power, for instance, where there are way bigger fucking issues that ruin the story. But with Halo, what's the biggest issue that we can criticize? Master Chief's ass is on the screen for a second and he doesn't have a helmet on. I don't want to watch this anymore. I understand that, and I understand everyone ties Master Chief to their reasoning for liking Halo. I don't. Master Chief is a character in a universe that I find cool, in a game I find cool, but he is not the core reason I like Halo. It's just like if you were to say, oh, I only like Gears of War for the one fucking dude with a bandana in Gears of War. Oh, he's dead. I don't want to play Gears of War anymore. Master Chief died. I couldn't give a flying fuck. Put another Spartan in front of me and I'll still play the game. So for me, the fact that he doesn't do certain things that aren't really story breaking to me, I don't care. I couldn't care that he walks around without his helmet on for a second. It doesn't make any difference to the universe. But if you were to say, oh, yeah, we've actually changed our minds, Spartans don't need armor anymore, then I'd be like, holy shit, what the fuck are you on about? That's completely changing the story up.
I guess I can get your idea on that. Like the whole like he could be called out, but like I'm pretty sure like the whole armor thing is supposed to be like he's supposed to be at ready 24/7, could go to war at any time. If he isn't, he's at the barracks, and that will be it. He doesn't go out.
Sure, but I mean, like that's fine. I don't think they really ever express that in the video game of like, hey, dude, your job is when you're not on this ship or you're not here, you just sit at base in a room like this, waiting. You know, I think it's showing that they are Spartans and killing machines, but they still have motor functions to be normal human in the sense of they're not walking around going to a bar going, fucking, I want that bird over there. But they're still walking around and being like, oh, you know, I'm communicating with other people. You guys need help with training. Do you? Oh, well, I'm a Spartan. At the end of the day, I can show you a thing or two.
I'm not too sure on that, especially with John, the Master Chief, like because he's like one of the like original Spartans. So he's one of the ones that are more, you know, fucking cuckoo in the head, don't fucking talk or anything.
Yeah.
Compared to like more of the later ones, which you see in like Halo 4, of Delta Squad, where they're the newer versions where they have more human emotion, they joke and all that. But then you've got Master Chief where he's deadpan.
Yeah, well, in the show, he was kind of like that. Like when he spoke with the other Spartans, he was never laughing, smiling, or showing emotion. He never. Actually, I don't think he smiled or laughed in the entire series. I don't think he really cried from memory, maybe with the chick, but like he never really showed much emotion, whereas the other ones kind of did. The only emotion he probably showed was anger.
And I do actually remember if Spartans are not going out in combat, they're usually frozen as well. Like they're cryogenically frozen in their armor. So when war times happen, they just cryogenically unfreeze them, and then
I don't know enough to fact check you on that one, so we'll have to take your word on it. But if that's the case, then sure. But again, I don't think that's like it's not a super groundbreaking thing for me. It's like, you know, if you were to say, let's say like One Piece. Let's say One Piece are like, oh, we're going to make a show, and One Piece was just a book the whole time. And they went, oh, you know, we've decided that Luffy, instead of wearing a red vest, we kind of like the idea of him having like this black vest with like a straw hat. We'll keep the straw hat the same, but I like the black vest. I don't think that's something where I'll be like, fuck, I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't want to
give a fuck. He changes his outfit every island.
Exactly. But I'm just making up in a scenario. Or instead of Zoro being green hair, we actually think he looks cool with like orange. I don't think that's a huge fucking problem. But if they were like, we actually don't like the idea of Luffy being a rubber man, so we've decided to make him a metal man where he can form his body into pure steel, I think people would be like, no, you've just changed the entire character and the entire layout. So I think if they went, oh, for Master Chief, we've decided that he's actually not going to be a Spartan, then I'd be like, well, hold on, that's groundbreaking. But for me, him taking armor off here and there isn't enough to make me go, this show is dog shit, I'm not watching it. That's why I have an issue with people not liking it.
I still feel like the show, he shouldn't have been the main character.
Yeah.
It should have been like
I agree.
It should have been a human that was fighting with him, ODST or something.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why there's
I just found a few things because I was just trying to, because I haven't seen season 1. I'll probably have to really take the time to judge my own thing on it. But I just want to mention a few things, and hopefully, Zach, you might be able to remedy or comment. Now, one of these things was pretty much what Dylan had just said. That the Spartans make bad main characters. Spartans are fairly static characters. Between the insane training and 2+ decades of warfare, they are who they are at this point. What Spartans are great for is guiding other characters who are in the process of their transformative journey. Blah, blah, blah. They're so static, they force those characters to reassess their worldviews, which I agree. And that was partly like probably one of my things, like having Master Chief as a main character or one of the main characters of Spartans in that regard, is that, yeah, you would have to make it a human element. Like Zach said, you would have to make them human for it to be
To make it
relatable to
interesting.
anyone.
Yeah.
Which just seems like you could have gone down any other route than that if they wanted to stick a little bit more true to it. So did you feel, Zach, that in season 1 that just in short, I don't want a 16-year rant, but just in short, was he a good character? Was he a good human character?
Oh, like as in them changing his emotions a bit to making him a main character?
Well,
Was he good?
having him become what everyone knew him as, which was just a war machine, really, just a yes man. You were point and shoot kind of guy, to having human emotions and thoughts and questioning
Yes.
certain orders.
I think by them choosing to make him the main character, making the choices they did to make him more relatable and interesting, which I think podcasts ago I made that comment where they need to do that for people who don't play the games that want to watch it, to have some relation to him that haven't played it. You need to develop a relationship to Master Chief if you've never played it to like him. I think they did a good job because they showed him having an internal conflict with, do I want emotions? Maybe I don't. But at the same time, I feel like I have been wrong done by here and I've been lied to. So he's like, I don't really care because my job is to kill shit, but they've done something wrong and aren't telling me what I actually was or where I actually came from. So it wasn't more like him going, I just want love. It was him going, wait a second. Where did I come from? That's not what you said. Wait, I had parents? Wait, what? So he's going, where the fuck, who am I? Because at the end of the day, he's like, was I kidnapped? Oh, that's all I want to know. And that's all his conflict is him just, and with that Asian lady at the beginning, I can't remember her name, that everyone ranted about, Quan, that's it. He was kind of like, can you just fuck off? Like the whole time, he was never like, oh, I love you, Quan, you're like my daughter. He was just like shut the fuck up, sit on the thing. I'm taking you back to base. Just, I don't even want to talk to you.
Yeah,
and
but
she was antagonizing him. And he was I think he was portrayed well enough where he started off like this soulless, fuck, get on the ship. I'm here. I've killed everything. I've saved everything. You're the last human. Get on the ship, taking you back. Don't talk to me, girl. Sit down, girl. I've got a job to do. And then him going, wait a second, you and SC have lied to me. Kind of intrigued by this. It wasn't him being like, I want to seek love. So I think for him to be an interesting character, the changes they made weren't groundbreaking to me, and it made him kind of intriguing as someone who played the games.
If I can give you some comparable characters that are well beloved, and in my opinion, would have been a better route to go down. If you look at characterizations of like RoboCop or like Judge Dredd, where they are the main character, but they have a humble human counterpart that shows, or that we see the story through, which gives us a human to show that emotional reaction to characters like RoboCop or Judge Dredd, where they are just basically just a machine of getting shit done. Just you go do this and you do it kind of thing. Where that's quite a successful movies, like the latest Dredd. Carl Urban, who was AMR, played Dredd, and absolutely fantastic job. Like one of the greatest. I cannot believe they haven't made a second one. and you never saw his face throughout the whole thing. He had his helmet on the whole time, but you had the female who played like the human, humble
Anderson,
sort of
I think her name
counterpart.
is. Anders?
I can't because but she had like her own little character arc throughout, and it was like really well done. That to me was what I was kind of expecting expecting that I would see in a Halo show, or something resembling like RoboCop, where it shows them as a weak human, shows that transformation to becoming a weapon of war, and then just shows them being a weapon of war and them going through the process of almost dealing with certain memory waves that attack them throughout.
That's basically
bringing
what
them
happened to
back.
Master Chief.
Yeah, but
There
then
was a series of
them
memories.
hoping to get through that to go, no, I am who I am now, like kind of
Yeah,
thing.
well, that's exactly what happened. Is he was going through these memories and trying to figure out what happened, and when he figured it out, he's like, "Well, I'm already where I'm at," and he had Cortana put in him, and he started to develop a relationship with Cortana and trust with her because he realized that at first he was like, "I don't want you in my body. I do my job good enough without you in my body," and Cortana's like, "Well, I was just put in here to help you." But the person that put Cortana inside him was the same person that's lying to him about him being kidnapped as a child and them having to take kill his parents or whatever. So he was like, "Well, I don't. If you lied about me being as a kid, then I don't trust you putting this thing inside me. So I can do my job perfectly fine at killing shit. I don't need you to put a Cortana in me." But then Cortana kind of earns his trust throughout the show, where he gets to the point where he's like, "Well, shit's happened. I don't even care about where I came from as a kid anymore. My job is my job." And then towards the end of it, he's like, Cortana, take full control, bang. And then Cortana just turns, he's just killing everything, whatever, gets him off the fucking planet because he's, trying to get off this fucking, there's elites coming at him and everything. And that's how it ends. So it's like now the next series will be him working with Cortana to be Master Chief. So I feel like there was kind of this
So it wasn't Master Chief. At the end, it was Cortana.
Well, he was originally in the fight, kicking ass, and then his Spartans started falling. He was getting overwhelmed, and he started like, I can't remember it exactly, but he was like losing the battle. Like he was starting to get killed by the thousands of fucking aliens around him, and he's just running out of shit. Spartans are dying, and then Cortana's like, "I can get you out of here, but I need control," and gives him control to get him off the planet. So, because he was not functioning properly towards the end.
Does that ever happen, though? Is that even a thing? So I always thought they worked together, and Cortana would tell him.
Cortana never takes control of Master Chief.
Where to go, she would obviously feed him the ideas of how to succeed in the mission, and he was the doer, she was the sayer.
Yeah,
but I never knew
she's
that
the human part of Master Chief. She tells him what needs to be done, when it needs to be done. She's not someone that would take control. She would stun him. That's about it.
Yeah, but anyway, he basically, Cortana has the idea of Cortana going in him originally was to be Master Chief. I'm pretty sure Cortana was the idea was to basically make Master Chief fully controlled by Cortana, and he was just kind of the shell of it. But with Cortana, it wasn't like I'm a woman, if that's what you're getting at, let me get you out of here. It was he was physically dying. Yeah, he was just physically dying. So he was going to die, and him as a human dying means that's it, I'm out. So she's like, "Well, I don't have feelings. I can just control your shell. Just let me do it." He's like, "Okay, I'm going to die. Then just do it." So she just gets him out of the horde of aliens coming. I'm sure that's not in the video game, just like him not fucking another girl is in the video game. But my point is they have to have some creative direction. I don't want a show that is a carbon copy of the fucking video game. I just want a show that a bit of, I'm fine for a director to show me a little bit of creativity in a story, but make it a good story. I'm not asking you to make a carbon copy of a story I've already known, but make a good story out of what I already know. Same with Rings of Power. I don't want a story I've already read from the books. I want you to respect the story in the books and make it good. That's all I want. Just like I think Halo did an amazing job at taking a woman and making her a badass with the woman Spartan in the shows, like probably the second Spartan that they really follow. She was a fucking monster and she was intimidating. She was tall. She was strong. She physically showed her capabilities. And it wasn't through her being like, I'm a woman. It wasn't even really mentioned, oh, I'm a woman Spartan. I get, everyone respected her and she was just a fucking beast. So I think they've done a really good job. And there was a YouTube series ages ago. I'm trying to find it, but it was back when I was in high school where they made a Halo live action TV series and it was on YouTube and it was fucking phenomenal. And it followed two boys that were part of the UNSC as just a soldier being trained up and their experiences as kids growing up in the UNSC and fighting wars. And
Isn't
at the
that
very
Forward
end, Master Chief shows up and starts killing shit. And that's how the show ended. I can't find the name.
I think I remember that.
And it
Forward
was
Unto Dawn?
phenomenal. Huh?
Isn't that like Forward Unto Dawn or something?
That's what I think it is. Yeah, Forward Unto Dawn.
No, I think it was like one that had like multiple movies on it. Like there was one about hunters and shit as well.
Yeah, no, it is Forward Unto Dawn. I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Yeah, it's only short. It's not that long.
Yeah, it is Forward Unto Dawn, and I think that was a phenomenal story. I think that was really well done.
See, but that does what I'd say. It shows you the story from a human standpoint.
Yeah,
Master Chief is this sort of being of superiority above everything else, which is that's what his character is. Like, I mean, the video games were never like a great characterization of Master Chief. You were just playing the shell of a person.
Exactly.
But that's like partly why it was fun, because it was just he was anything.
It
really.
was it was fun, but I wouldn't say like I never grew up finding the Halo story engaging, like as in the campaigns of playing Master Chief. I didn't find Master Chief as a character super engaging as a character, like as if when I played Skyrim and I played as the Dovahkiin and I found that really engaging playing that. But playing Halo, I didn't find the character development of Master Chief the sole reason of why I liked it. I just really liked the universe and the enemies I was fighting and the combat that was happening and the weapons and the way the world was developing around me. So for me, if they're like, hey, we want to try and make Master Chief relatable, sure, go ahead. I don't give a fuck about him. It's not this huge groundbreaking issue to me. But if they were like, we're going to take Dovahkiin and change him, I'll be like, well, hold up. He's already got a full story and character development. Master Chief never really had one. It was just, hey, dude, go kill shit. You're the best guy at doing it. So I don't mind them trying to change it creatively.
Though, wasn't it? The world building was pretty set in stone in Halo. Okay, so back to the trailer, which is what we originally were discussing. So yeah, they did mention Reach, and I can confirm that the first episode is the synopsis is it's a deadly evacuation mission. Signals the shift in Master Chief's war with the Covenant. On Reach, a new regime takes the reins at FleetCom. John senses a looming threat close to home. And then
I'm not sure what that means, but
it's obviously must be an invasion on. So it's an invasion on Reach, and then it's an evacuation of everyone off Reach, and then John is sensing something coming. I would sort of extrapolate from that.
Yeah.
The second episode, John pushes Silver Team to its limits as he searches for missing Spartans. Kai worries about John's stability. Here we go again, emotions. Fuck. Quan finds the rubble is a far more dangerous place in Soren's absence. Halsey seeks the identity of her captor. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the second episode.
Is that all they've got, just on the first and second?
Yeah, just 2 episodes.
Yeah, okay. Well, sounds action-packed, so I'm going into it excited because I enjoyed it. I thought the combat was awesome.
I only watched the first season, but I'll watch the second.
I'll watch the first season. I will try this week to watch it. So by next week, we'll hopefully have some more information coming closer to the release of season 2, which would be good.
Mm.
And I'll try and watch season 1, inject myself back into the Halo universe for the first time since 2007, and do what I can there.
There you go.
I have actually,
And also for anyone listening, sorry, Dylan, for anyone listening, I'm not a giant Halo nerd, so I don't know every lore thing about it. This is an opinion of someone that's just grown up playing them, love the multiplayers. So if you're going to come at me in any way of like, yeah, but dude, actually theoretically in the lore of the story, I don't give a fuck. Okay, I'm just giving you my opinion as someone that likes the game. I don't know everything about it. I like the game. This is my opinion on it. Simple as that.
I care.
So,
I love
I like the
deep
story.
lore. I like if I see something on the TV, if I watch this Halo season 1 and I go to the fandom of Halo to explore a certain aspect of the show and there's nothing there, that's where I question the credibility of the creation of the show.
This is my reason why I said that. Halo is not Lord of the Rings. Halo is not Star Wars. Halo is not any other fucking story with 18 books written on the fucking in-depth lore. It has maybe a couple. No. It has books. It has books and it has directories and certain things on it. But what I'm saying is it's not one of those things where people commonly go in depth and crazy about the lore. It is not a widely known thing for its in-depth lore. There
I'm
are
pretty sure it
certain
is.
people.
There's
i.e.
exactly
Lyndon,
18
No.
books.
No. Oh, is there? What a good guess. No, but there is people. It's not, to me, Halo isn't Warhammer. It is not known for its lore. Halo was popular for its gameplay. Its multiplayer blew it up. Its gunplay. It has lore because I actually own a couple Halo books and I own the big Halo one that goes on about every ship and planet and all that shit. But what I'm saying is I don't love it for the lore. I love it for the world and the games that I played. I don't love it like I like Lord of the Rings, where I love the universe and the lore. So that's why I personally don't give a fuck. I
Well,
just like the story of it.
So
I'll take it back. There's heaps.
they probably like
Heaps.
comics and stuff.
Yeah, but
Hey?
yeah,
Oh, there's
I don't
comic.
think if you were
comics
to relate
count.
if you relate Halo to you also got to remember you're dealing with no longer Bungie. So if you're going to go on about books and shit, unless they're actually done by Bungie, then that's like saying Amazon's released a bunch of Lord of the Rings books, because these are now books by Microsoft, who are people who just bought the story off Bungie and have now gone on about it. So technically, we could argue that none of that shit's canon because that's not what Bungie originally wanted. I'm going to go off what Bungie did, and in their world building, it wasn't super duper lore heavy. It was world building, gameplay, and gunplay.
You're gonna hold on to that? Because I swear to God, anyone that comes up with a sufficient argument in the comment, I'm gonna read it on the next podcast.
Yeah, go for
it.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll tear him to shreds.
Like I said, my point is that I don't like Halo for the lore. I like Halo for the gunplay and the games I played. So for me, the show is good enough to bring back nostalgia, and I enjoy it.
You want to know what the funny thing is compared to that? I fucking hate Halo's gameplay.
You hate Halo's gameplay?
Story. I hate the
well then your points are invalid to me anymore because you barely played them.
No, I love the game, but I don't like the multiplayer. I'll do the
multiplayer.
The
okay, so people, all right. Unpopular opinion right here. Lore fans of Halo, fake fans. Halo 3 multiplayer fans, real fans of Halo, because Halo is a game, and Halo's multiplayer was what made it popular. So if you don't like Halo 3 multiplayer, then you are not a real fan. You're a fake fan.
So you heard it here, folks. If you don't like the multiplayer in a game, you don't like the game.
No, Dylan. I did not say multiplayer in a game. I said if you don't like Halo 3 multiplayer, you are a fake fan, because that is what made Halo a big game. That is what made Halo huge. Is Halo?
Right, well, I'm just gonna bury Halo now. Like it's finished.
Cool.
I'm not. There's no point in me watching this second season. So
I did actually
the Halo novel project was initiated with the intent of establishing the expanded universe for future content. Contrary to popular belief, the project was overseen by Microsoft and not by Bungie. though they were
Exactly.
given a significant degree of creative control. It also states that although the novels have always been considered canonical, the stories were told generally regarded as distinct from the Halo games stories in some respects, with both games and the expanded universe forming their own standalone narratives. So therefore, none of it fucking matters. The games are rubbish, right? The lore in the game's rubbish. The lore in the books is rubbish. The TV show's crap. I mean, just get rid of it. There's no point anymore because none of it makes sense. It's not cohesive. It doesn't matter. So, Dylan, that's it. I'm going to delete the last 30 minutes of this podcast because there's no point talking about it any further.
I did want to bring up something. Is it
Sure.
Halo related? I did when I was. I remembered towards the beginning of the podcast that I did see something that could possibly annoy the fuck out of me. Well,
Okay.
I looked it up a bit more, and it could be interesting.
Okay.
Which is
I can't wait to
Borderlands.
hear it.
Which is what?
Borderlands. The movie.
Oh, okay. It's going to annoy you. You heard
I
it
thought
here
it
first,
would.
folks.
It's a live action one.
Yep.
Okay.
And I thought, it's probably going to be shit because.
Well, here's my opinion again on that, because Borderlands is literally Halo in the same thing. There is fuck all. Okay. Let me disclaimer for any fucking nerds like Dylan on Borderlands. Sorry, Dylan, you're about to hate exactly what I'm going to say, and this is going to be another argument. Borderlands is not known for its lore. It is known for being a fun arcade shooter with cool stories individual to each game. There is no chronological order that everyone goes around going, hey, do you remember that Borderlands novel? No. There may be 4% of the fan base that likes their lore, but it is not known for that. So, you know what? Take your live action TV series, do whatever the fuck you want with it. Just make
I'll actually agree with you. The combat is probably the best part of Borderlands.
Halo.
I mean, Borderlands.
Halo.
No,
right
mate.
there.
We're not talking about Halo anymore.
We're talking about Halo is its combat.
No.
That is it.
And anyway,
it is.
But there is one character in the Borderlands movie that will interest me because I don't know how it's going to work, which is Jack Black as Claptrap.
Oh, perfect. You've sold me.
Dylan, that was announced back in 2001 before Borderlands even existed. Everyone knew that he was cast as Claptrap.
Yeah, he is Claptrap.
Yeah.
Zach might know this. Bobby Lee.
Yeah.
From that podcast, you like what?
Yeah, I love Bobby Lee.
He's in Borderlands as well.
Oh, you've sold me. This is going to be the best fucking movie.
He's a character I can't find.
This is the best.
He will be if they do Borderlands 3. He would be one of those villains. They're the podcast social
100%.
Media villains. That would be great.
There's one character. There's one person I don't know how I think about it. Because I feel like they could have found someone a lot better, which is Roland. And he's played by Kevin Hart.
Oh, honestly, Kevin Hart's another great person. He's
a great person, but I don't think he's a...
No, I think... No, because for me, Borderlands is super comical. What makes Borderlands great is comedy, gunplay, action. You've named Kevin Hart, great for that. Jack Black, amazing for that. Bobby Lee, godlike. So, genuinely, I think that is an amazing cast lineup for that.
Yeah, there's Kate Blanchett for Lilith. Jamie Lee Curtis for Tannis. This person, I reckon they actually got a pretty good actor, which is Florian Montanaro, I think it is. For Krieg. And he's like, I think he looks like I don't know, like maybe a Middle Eastern like boxer. Like he's built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah.
So like he was in Creed. He played Victor Drago.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Borderlands is a great game to do movies on because their lore is so minuscule. You can basically just make any story with great gunplay, great world atmosphere,
and
comedy. So as long as the action scenes are good the world matches the art style, and the comedy is in the same realm as
Yeah.
how they did it in the games, movies will be great. You can make any story up under the sun and it will work.
Yeah.
So Borderlands is a great game to do that shit for. So I think it'll be really, really good.
Didn't you just shit on Borderlands just like 2 seconds ago?
No, I didn't. When did I shit on Borderlands? I said that Borderlands has no lore. I said that Borderlands is a great game for being combat. It is an amazing game. I've finished Borderlands 1 numerous times, Borderlands 2, haven't finished Borderlands 3. But I think Borderlands is an amazing game. But like Halo, maybe 4% of the fans fucking delve into the lore. I think majority of people love Halo and have nostalgia to it for being combat. Just like Borderlands, it is a combat game. It is not a fucking sit back and read Wikipedia about, what did Claptrap really come from? Or what was Claptrap's creator? No one gives a fuck. The game was just insanely fun. So Borderlands is not in the same realm as Lord of the Rings. You can just do whatever the fuck you want with Borderlands. And I think Borderlands is a great game.
I did just put in to our Discord that's pretty much all we know of what they look like.
Looks like they've got Tiny Tina.
Yeah, Tiny Tina. There's Krieg, there's Tannis, Moxie, and Roland.
Yeah, you can see
Roland looks tiny. It's Kevin Hart.
Does. Yeah.
Tiny Tina is played by
Claptrap.
Ariana Greenblatt.
Mm.
And,
you know who Larry is?
Who?
Nah.
What's
I
this
tried
for?
Is Larry the bus driver?
No, that's Marcus, who's played by
Marcus,
Benjamin Byron Davis.
Played by who?
He's the guy who plays Dutch out of Red Dead Redemption.
He also played Blittle Snort in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
So is this going to be an animated film?
No, live action.
Like live action.
Okay, so who's the actor for Marcus?
Benjamin Byron Davis.
I can just do it here. I can share.
He would be great. I reckon he looks great for it.
They got a pretty alright looking actress for
I think it looks good.
Ellie.
All right, so here's the cast.
Oh yeah, you're up on IMDb.
I sure am. I think I saw the Kevin Hart with Roland. It looks pretty good. Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis looks pretty good. Moxie looks good. Who's Nox?
Nox is like a antagonist from the first game, so I'm assuming he's going to be the bad guy. Oh, he's General Nox. Okay.
But that's played by this girl.
Wait, what? Go back.
Unless it's,
so what's the character?
So
what's the character say?
Unless it's
who does it say she's playing?
General
yes, I can see the similarities.
Yeah, that's a doozy.
Thanks, Game Rant, for providing us with this close-up image. That is insane. Well, okay, so
I'm sure it's probably someone else.
Yeah, no, that's a bad one.
That is great. How good is that?
She doesn't like Mondays.
I was happy up until that, but to
That
honest,
would
Bobby
be
Lee, still take it back. Who's Bobby Lee playing?
Larry.
No one
We don't know who
knows.
that is. I think it's an OG.
No one knows who Larry is. Who's Crom?
Crom is the antagonist I was thinking of before Nox. It's like a bandit.
Who's Jacobs?
That's him. He's from Borderlands 3.
Yeah, okay.
Same as Hammerlock, Charles Babalola, bottom
Who's
left.
Ellie?
That's Ellie's the fat
Oh yes, the
Dylan.
sister
of fucking
yes, Ellie. Oh yeah, Ellie's so good.
Surely they could have got Melissa McCarthy for that.
Oh,
actually,
Dylan.
Melissa McCarthy would have been great.
Oh,
I'm not having that as my profile picture.
Dylan, make that your profile.
Dylan, that is your profile pic from now on. Okay, so it's being played by Rhiannon Redmond.
Oh no, she looks good for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she looked alright.
Yeah, she looks good for it.
It'd be good to bring a little bit of sexuality to that character,
Oh yeah, she'll definitely have to have
rather
a
than
cleavage, yeah.
having this who just absolutely gives you the most inappropriate shit at all times.
I love that character.
She's peak female performance right there.
She is.
But see,
I think
Borderlands is a great game. It's not super lore heavy. Like, it's got lore, but it's not lore heavy. So
I
they
think she's a
can
little
make
bit
any
too
story
attractive
up.
to play that character.
No, she's very beautiful, but you can see that with makeup, they could make her look
I'd
like you
to
could make
think-
anyone look fucked.
I'd like to think they'll put a fucking like
There you go,
similar
Dylan.
suit on her.
Isn't that the Skyrim set?
That's Princess Leia.
No,
for
that's
sure.
Princess Leia.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the skirt with the leather straps. I'm pretty sure you can get that in Skyrim.
Oh, you probably can. I
Isn't
wouldn't.
it the what's the two different guards? The storm cloaks and the other one.
The Stormcloaks and the Imperial.
Yeah, it's the Imperial skirt.
Yeah, if you look up Larry, it just comes up someone in Telltale Walking Dead.
Yeah, but to be honest, Bobby Lee is so good. He's just so funny.
I'm not sure about the
great.
Charles Barbaloa one. Might be alright for Hammerlock.
Who's Quinn?
Well, that's Maya. Might be just like a random NPC.
What's
This-
Charles Bubba Law playing?
He's playing Hammerlock.
Who?
On left.
Hammerlock. Who's Hammerlock?
Hammerlock is the dude in Borderlands 2, the British dude right at the beginning of the game.
Oh yes, the dude up on the hill. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I love him. He's good. Yeah,
So I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be British, but it looks like he's being played by an African.
Yeah, but
mean-
honestly, like I don't care about the color. Like I said, in Borderlands, it's not lore heavy enough for that. I don't care.
There's
Everything
Scooter,
looks-
bottom right.
Dynamite, except for Nox.
Yeah, everything's really good except that Nox casting. That's fucking pretty laughable. That's pretty bad.
It's that one with the one on the
I like
right.
the meme on the top right. The top right.
top
one
right.
is
That's the
gold.
best one.
That's a good one. But yeah, no, honestly, I think that's a good one. And you know what? I'm excited for that.
I think on IMDb it says it might come out August.
Yeah, okay. Well,
So we'll have to
we'll
keep an
be
eye on
ready
that
for
one.
that, I suppose. But yeah, when's have they announced the new Last of Us season 2? Like when that's meant to be happening?
No, but I have
no.
heard some stuff
But
that
I have. Yeah, don't even say it, Dylan. It's not worth it. It's going to open up a whole other can of worms, and it's getting late, and I don't want to do it.
I don't blame you.
Okay.
All I
Well,
can say is golf.
Oh,
well, I don't know the game
I
enough to
wasn't,
really
I wasn't
care.
thinking that, Dylan. And the rumor is that they probably won't go ahead with that.
Oh, really?
The rumor is that they're going to change it, and they're not going to golf club said character.
In the face.
And they're going to probably keep them not dead.
Retconning. My favorite kind of thing.
Well, yeah, just so no one has anything to say about the gamers who don't like the second game,
Yeah.
which is going to be. I'm waiting for it to happen, so then everyone understands the pain that everyone went through.
I guess to be fair, you can't crucify the TV series for following the game unless people now want them to change the story from the game.
Well, how the game is very shittily done. It's paced very
Okay.
odd.
Well, actually, I just realized before we get into this, Taylor said before we started this podcast, let's not try and make this go over an hour and a half.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
And
sorry.
we've kind of gone
I
off
didn't
that.
bring it
You
up,
know,
mate.
I actually fully blame Dylan for bringing up Halo. That was really irresponsible of you. You know where that was
I
going.
didn't bring up Halo.
And secondly, Dylan, it was about the fucking trailer. We weren't meant to debate season 1 of Halo. So
yeah,
next
I
time,
don't even think we
bring in.
made it through the trailer. So
I don't think we did. No, because Dylan instantly brought up butt cheeks and sex.
this
we've
has
had
been
No,
the
I didn't
worst
bring up butt
episode.
cheeks. He
This has
brought up
been
butt
the worst
cheeks.
episode we've ever done. Like we're going to get absolutely hounded for this by the.
No, you know what? I think, like I said, I think people enjoy. I wholeheartedly think people really enjoy seeing us show our true emotions and argue with each other. So, as well as sometimes we go off the wire a bit. I think people probably find that very entertaining. So you're welcome. Dylan, never come at me like that again.
I'll tell you what. How about we do a separate video, maybe throughout the week, where we react to the trailer. We'll do just a pure reaction to the trailer.
Well, we could do that as a YouTube video.
Yeah, we'll just upload it to our channel as a video of a reaction. We'll have a reaction section where we'll react to trailers, and we'll do it there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Don't bring up season 1.
The rumor that I've heard, Dylan, I'm trying to talk. The rumor about Last of Us, right? The rumor going around now is they're going to do a standalone show about episode 3.
Oh,
so they're going to further. Dylan, I couldn't hit the profanity buzzer quick enough. You can't say that word.
Well, you can say it.
No, you can't.
It's the F1.
We're three straight white males. You can't throw that word around willy-nilly. It's fucking ridiculous that you think you can just do that.
That's fine. That
sort of shit language is not. That sort of shit would get us kicked off YouTube.
To be fair, no one knows the race of Dylan, and we should have strategically done this and made the Green Dragon Pod logo with Dylan as a person of color. Because we wanted some more diversity, and no one really knows the race of Dylan at this point. So,
I'm the law.
But yes, they are going to make a standalone TV show about the two gay interest lovers. Even though they had said and did everything they needed to do in one episode, they're going to expand on it somehow.
I will say that is the best episode I've ever seen in TV.
It was good.
I thought it was a phenomenal TV episode. It was like watching a whole series in one episode, and it was.
But you know what that also shows is that video game writers and creators know how to flesh out characters better than anyone currently in Hollywood writing anything. Neil Gaiman, who was part of the creation of The Last of Us Game 1 and 2, he was pretty much in control of the majority of the story in the show, and I think he did a great job.
Well, I think in saying that, gamers need to be better at it because, one, you need to sell the game to someone. I'm not personally buying a TV show to watch it, but I'm buying a game to play it. And two, I spend a lot more time playing a fucking story single-player game than I do watching a series. So I feel like gamers need to flesh out characters way better than TV writers. But it's a lesson to be learnt from TVs that you can do it better. And Last of Us, with that episode about the gay couple, was so good. I loved that episode. I thought it was a great short story. It was phenomenal. That was like one of Roby's favorite episodes of anything. So
that was a good episode.
And to add to that, Dylan, I think it's about time you sign us out, mate. So
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Hang on a sec.
Sorry, I'll get back in my corner.
Sign us out, Dylan.
Oh, okay. Thanks. You're putting the wizard up in full glory.
Yep.
Yeah, mate.
Thanks for listening to our podcast this week. I don't know which episode it is, so there you go. We will hopefully get it up by well. Shut the fuck up.
Right. That was horrible. Start again, right? From the top.
Okay.
No and ahs, no nothing. You just gotta sign us out.
His brain forgets, so he adds stuff that doesn't need
No,
added.
What my brain does, it just keeps adding more shit onto add. I'm like, I don't need this, and then it's just like, what do I need?
Right,
yeah, sign us out. Okay. You got to do like a minute sign out. Go.
Okay. thanks for coming and listening to this week's podcast. Hopefully Taylor will get it up by what do you time do you usually get up by? What day? Well, just fucking ask him, mate.
And a job tonight, Dylan. Don't worry about what I got to do.
Tonight, then.
Don't worry
Sorry.
about me. I'm
Yeah,
fine,
so
right? It takes 2 seconds to upload this thing. No, don't worry about me. Don't
We'll
worry.
hopefully get another podcast done.
The episode will be
Saturday.
up.
And
All right, hang on. Pause, time out, right? Viewers, just turn off for a sec. Dylan, the episode will be up for viewers to view or listen right after this, which is probably about 10
when they're
o'clock
listening to it.
Sunday, which generally they probably won't listen to it then. They'll listen to it Monday. But you can say every episode will be out Sunday, 10 o'clock at night.
yeah.
Right?
Ready
Okay.
to stream
Go back in. Do it
Monday
again.
morning.
Do it
I
again.
don't know why I
but
need to say now that you've said it.
What,
Alright,
no,
go
the
on.
viewers aren't
No.
listening to me. They're listening to
Yeah.
your sign out.
Oh,
so,
okay, yeah. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Right.
all right, from the top.
All right. Thanks for coming and listening to our podcast this week. The podcast will be up tonight at roughly around 10 o'clock. Hopefully you'll come to listen to us next week when we do the next one, and we'll hopefully get the YouTube react to the trailer for Halo Season 2.
We got there.
Yeah.
We got there.
Okay, but
Dylan, you didn't even mention Project Zomboid and how good of a game it was.
Oh, or Remnant. What the fuck, mate? Oh, that will be next week.
we'll do a
didn't bring
separate
up
video
Halo,
of gaming later, right? I said an hour, and it's been an hour and 45 minutes.
It's
There's
46
no
minutes.
time now. Now you've
No
ruined
time.
this outro.
Yeah, well, it's done now, so
All right. Well, thank you all. Now, the last thing, Dylan, that we need you to do is also basically go around the table and ask people where people can follow them at, whether it be Zach's Twitch and streaming, your streaming, my streaming, and you allow us to tell people where they can
okay.
follow us outside the podcast.
Zachary, where can people try and find your kind of content?
Well, we stream games on Twitch at Dr_Brownington, where we will stream games like survival games, maybe a couple MMOs here and there. Maybe sometimes we'll do story games. You can expect games like Space Marines 2 to be streamed by all three of us, and main story games like that. You can also follow me on TikTok at Mini Epic World, where I post general shit on miniatures, as we also are pretty into that stuff. And that's about it for now.
And you, young at Taylor?
I kind of remember my stuff, so I'll probably just put it up underneath the video. You'll see
Thanks
mine.
for that, mate.
Dylan, what the fuck did you ask?
Yeah,
We could
I'm
have
not
put in the
fucking prepared,
description.
mate.
We could have just said
After
everything's in the description, Dylan.
Yeah, it'll be in the description, Dylan. That's maybe next time. Just do
Have
all
some
links in the
forward
description.
thinking. Yeah,
Fuck you.
take some initiative.
All right. Is that it, Dylan? We're good.
Yeah, we're done, mate.
All right. See you next time.
So,
Or-